An analysis on the Super Bowl 48, Lori House Anderson visiting CCHS, the drama department's production of Les Mis, and more on this episode of ODTV.
Welcome to ODTV. My name is James Lumpkin, and I am here with Mary Merritt.
Award-winning author Lori House Anderson, whose works include Speak, Fever 1793, and her recent novel, The Impossible Knife of Memory, stopped by Athens, Georgia on her book tour. Anderson came to Clark Central to give a talk, which was sponsored by Avid Bookshop and the CCHS Media Center.
January 18th, New York Times bestselling author Lori House Anderson came to the CCHS Media Center. The event started with words from the author and then went on to a question and answer segment.
The editor knew I was very excited, and she didn't want me to get my hopes up, and she said, listen, if this book sells 3,000 copies in 3 years, you should be happy. She said, teenagers really don't like to read. This is 1999. This is just about the time the wave hit. And I was like heartbroken about that, and she's no longer in publishing, I'd like to point out.
Anderson spoke about her book tour and meeting her fans.
You know, writing is a strange kind of job, because you're sitting alone for months on end, usually, making up stuff in your head and trying to make it make sense on paper, and it's isolating, and it's part of why I love social media. But nothing compares to actually meeting in person a reader who's enjoyed one of my books.
Anderson ended her stay with the book signing. This has been Julie Alpaugh for Odyssey Online.
The Chess and Community Conference was held January 18th on the University of Georgia campus. Students from around Athens showed up to compete in the tournament.
The second annual Chess and Community Conference was held at the Georgia Center for Continuing Education. The event was aimed to bring the community together. It started off with a variety of speakers, including Lemuel LaRoche, who started the Chess and Community Organization.
Chess and Community Conference is a way to really want to allow the community to come together and put the policymakers in the same room with the children and the communities that are affected by the policies, be it good or bad.
He saw that there were kids around Athens who loved to play chess and wanted to provide a place for them to come compete.
Every kid always want to become basketball players, football players, rappers, and it's like there's so many good players in Athens, that so much people that play chess. And I wanted to get an opportunity to really develop a platform for them. The same way there's a SEC championship, and let's develop some type of chess championship within the Athens, Georgia.
Students all came to participate for different reasons, but Norby White finds the connection he can make to life his favorite part.
It helps you with everyday life, because before you make a move, you want to think about what the consequences are, and if there is, what is it, and how great and drastic is it going to help you or not. And I mean, that pretty much helps me, and I like how it helps me in my everyday life.
Win or loss, Beverly Ford, Secretary of Chess and Community, hopes the event will spread the word so they can continue and expand what they are doing.
Next year, I hope that we can get more teams involved, more volunteers from the community involved, and I think that now that more people are aware of chess community, that they really know what's going on.
This has been Julie Alpaugh for Odyssey Online.
Now we have broadcast manager Michaela Richards to give us the app of the week.
Smartphone users, you have probably already heard of Mega Jump, but have you played the sequel to Mega Jump? Let me show you how to fall in love with another cute monster. Mega Jump 2 by Get Set Games hit the top of the iTunes App Store this week. Mega Jump 2 is very easy to understand, but maybe tedious to master. There is a cute red monster on the screen, and you are told to collect the coins and shapes by tilting your screen left to right. When you lose, you lose. There is no life system on the game. If you have the patience, download Mega Jump 2 today, and if you don't, stick the Temple Run. This has been Michaela Richards with Odyssey Online.
It's basketball season at CCHS, and Clark Central faced off with crosstown arch rival Cedar Shoals High School. Here's Jakim Ellison with the coverage of the game.
On January 18, 2014, the Clark Central Gladiators faced off against crosstown rival Cedar Shoals Jaguars. The Lady Glads started off first by beating the Lady Jags by 18. The final score was 67-45. The Lady Glads did a great job with Addie McNeely averaging the team in scoring with 10 points, Tyra Thompson with 6, and Jasmine Bell with 12. The girls have a winning record of 13-4 and are planning on taking it all the way to state championship this season. Secondly, playing next were the men Clark Central Gladiators. They also beat the men Jaguars by 16. The final score, 67-51. There were also a couple of key players that helped with the 16-point win. Cameron Johnson led the team in scoring with 22 points of his own. Leroy Leggett second leading with 13. Jaquan Dowdy with 11 points, and Austin Johnson with 10. Donovan Thompson led the team in double figures assists with 10 dishes of his own. Both Gladiators did a great job playing against crosstown rivals, Jaguars. This is Jakim Ellison with Odyssey Online.
Keeping up with school and community news has never been easier. Ella Sams will show you how.
What if you could be invincible? What if you could know everything at any time of the day, wherever you are? What if you held it all under your thumb? The new Odyssey Online app has come to Clark Central. You can be one of the first to browse hot topics, watch a heartfelt video, or be informed by one of our trusty news pieces. Get to know your community with the Odyssey Online app, available in the Android Store, App Store, or the Google Play Store today.
The biggest game of the NFL football season was held Sunday, February 2nd, featuring the Denver Broncos against the Seattle Seahawks. The game was played at the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area, which was the first cold weather Super Bowl in NFL history. Let's go to Kevin Mably with his analysis of the game.
On Sunday, February 2nd, America witnessed the 2014 Super Bowl between the Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos. Leading into the game, people were wondering if the number one offense of the Broncos, led by quarterback Peyton Manning, would prevail over the number one defense of the Seahawks, headed by corner Richard Sherman. When the first snap of the game sailed over Manning's head for a safety and a Seahawks 2-0 lead, you could tell that we were in for a rout. Even as the Seahawks offense was slow to get going, their defense continued to stifle the Broncos offense. I think we witnessed one of the best defensive performances in a Super Bowl ever. The Legion of Boom came through. However, defense isn't attractive, defense isn't exciting. Let's face it, this was a boring game. I didn't even watch the second half. Let me put it to you this way. Bruno Mars' halftime performance was more exciting than this game. This game signified a major changing of the guard in the NFL. The Seahawks have assembled a team worthy of a dynasty. Pete Carroll is a mastermind of a coach, and behind the arm of Russell Wilson, the legs of Marshawn Lynch, the explosiveness of Percy Harvin, and the dominance of the LOB, the Seahawks could stand as kings of the NFL for years to come. I'm Kevin Mably, Odyssey Online.
The Sports Performance and Rehabilitation Center, located at 1765 Old West Broad Street, is a comprehensive training facility that tailors its services to the individual goals of clients. Started by the Athens Orthopedic Center, Spark is led by Olympic gold medalist Adam Nelson and his team of trainers.
Spark Athens is a new sports gym located on Old West Broad Street. Spark is a full-service training center for young athletes ages 12 to 18. But Spark isn't only a gym. It's a sports performance and rehabilitation center. Spark was started by the Athens Orthopedic Center with the goal to improve the performance of young Athens athletes. Odyssey News anchor Jakem Ellison completed the Spark initial assessment to get an idea of how fit the varsity basketball player really is. Jakem's assessment showed that he is not at a high risk for non-contact injuries, and that he has average flexibility. Not only does Spark have a state-of-the-art facility, their mission is to analyze the science behind motion in fitness in order to significantly reduce the likelihood of injury. After the initial assessment has identified movement deficiencies, athletes are sent to the fundamental course, and then to other classes based on their needs and ability. Adam Nelson is a world champion and Olympic gold medalist in the shot put. After retiring from competition in November 2012, he joined the Athens Orthopedic Clinic as Director of Sports Performance.
What we're really trying to do is open up the whole performance lab that you'd have at some of the greatest universities in the country and in the world, and open that up to the general public, and particularly the high school and youth sports population. We've got a great expert staff, we've got a great facility, and if there's anything that we can do to help out any of the programs in the area, all they have to do is contact us.
This has been Nicholas Byrne with Odyssey Online.
Speaking of health, here is a PSA about EpiPen safety.
She's just a student like you. She walks like you. She talks like you. She does everything like you. But at any moment, she could find herself in a situation of life or death. For people like her who have anaphylactic reactions to certain foods or chemicals, they must carry EpiPen auto-injectors to save them when a reaction occurs. According to foodallergy.org, 6 to 8% of U.S. children have food allergies, and there are 150 deaths per year from peanut and tree nut anaphylaxis. It could be life or death, but with the help of one small device, we can make it life.
Racism in the 21st century still continues to be an issue. Michaela Richards offers commentary on the subject with her piece To Be Darker Than Tan.
It's a white man's world. My father instilled this idea in my mind years ago. I didn't want to believe him, but when I stepped into kindergarten at Athens Christian School, I was wrong. The teacher explained to us that we would be drawing portraits of ourselves. She went on to say, the color of everyone's skin in this room is apricot, so use apricot crayon. She paused, and then glanced at me. She went on to say, except Michaela, you used the brown one. It registered in my mind that she was pointing out that my race isn't widely represented in a private school. I know that's a lot of marginalization from a crayon. She made sure that I knew I was darker than tan. An African American knows if you engage in black culture, you can still potentially damage a friendship between a white person and an African American. When I was in 5th grade, I had an MP3 player. While one of my friends was listening to my music, which was all rap, she looked at me and said, "Why do you listen to this?" I told her I liked it. The next day, I noticed she distanced herself from me. So I asked her why. And she told me that her parents said only useless listen to rap. Her parents said I wouldn't make a good friend and she can't hang out with me anymore. I burst into tears. I wasn't useless and I wasn't a The prejudice is alive and strong in our American culture and way of life. African American culture will never be accepted as the norm. Being darker than tan means the store clerk will continuously check up on me. I am not a thief, but the store clerk wasn't looking at my balance on the card. She wasn't examining my wallet. All she saw was that I am darker than tan. And why is everything that my race does is wrong? It's like it only becomes right when done by the white. Rap and R&B music is commonly referred to music for black kids. It's all about money, sex, and drugs. Okay, I own up to that. But you can't tell me that rock and hipster music does not insinuate the same themes. In white music, you hear lyrics like, I got a body full of liquor and a cocaine kicker. And S is for the simple need, E is for ecstasy, X is just to mark the spot. But it doesn't matter how many people say it, black music is wrong and white is right. The white privilege provokes my thoughts with great frustration. Hearing people deny it makes me emotional. Those words make me realize I have less value because of my skin tone. When whites reply to me by saying, oh, it's the 21st century, we don't do that anymore, I tell them to shut up, because they don't get it. As African Americans, we deal with racism on a daily basis. If Caucasians were to deal with it, they'd be in outrage. They'd be at the courthouse fighting for racism. And you know what? They'd probably win. We live in a society where if you want to be at the top, then it's all about who you know. The white man helps the white man. It's just all these things that we African Americans laugh about, but it's not funny. It is wrong and revoked. The 13th Amendment was signed January 31st, 1865. I am a person. The 14th Amendment says I am a citizen. Stop treating me like a trend that never ended. Until then, I'll be followed, forced to assimilate, and told that I'm wrong. All because I, Michaela Richards, is and will always be darker than tan.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of ODTV. Follow us on Twitter at Odyssey Newsmag and like us on Facebook. Additional content can be found online at odysseynewsmagazine.net. This has been James Lumpkin
and Mary Merritt
for Odyssey Online.